I picked up the phone. It was actually the doctor that was calling, and I just remember them saying, the best option would probably for me to lose my eye. I woke up from that surgery. I really come to the sense of this is my reality now, I'm blind.
When Jake told me he wanted to play football, my immediate reaction was, wow, that's interesting. How is this going to work?
On a beautiful day in March 1997, 35 miles south of the University of Southern California, Jake Olson was born. At 8 months old, doctors discovered he had retinal blastoma, cancerous tumors in both eyes. After surgery and treatments, Jake would begin his life with only one eye. For the next 12 years, Jake saw the world in all of its glory. He learned to surf, play golf, but most importantly, he discovered his love for football and the USC Trojans.
I love the game of football and really played with my father growing up, throwing the football around, played on my flag football team in middle school. When you're in the Coliseum and obviously the crowd's going wild and it's like nothing else.
As Jake grew through elementary, middle, and high school, he continued to battle cancer in his one good eye. Treatment after treatment, Jake's family fought through it.
The cancer would go away, then all of a sudden, we'd go to a checkup and the cancer would be back. And so they were trying to throw all these different types of treatments that they had against it.
That cancer came back around 8 times. And, each time it came back, we'd, try to fight it. And we had options of fighting, chemotherapy, laser treatment, cryotherapy, radiation, even experimental treatments.
We fought for so long, and we threw everything we could at it. And it was just it was clearly a crushing moment.
I picked up the phone. Sorry. I picked up the phone. It was actually the doctor that was calling, and I just remember them saying, the best option would probably for me to lose my eye. And that hurt, as a 12-year-old. I just faced 12 years of cancer and was ready to fight, for another round. And to be told I was going to have to lose my eyesight and become completely blind, it was devastating.
Before the surgery to remove Jake's eye would take place, his family wanted to give him the opportunity to see things for the last time. One of those things was a USC football game. When the USC coach, Pete Carroll, heard about Jake's story, he brought him in to be a part of the team.
Being here at SC helped a lot. Being part of that team and what Coach Carroll did for me was absolutely amazing.
When we got there, they brought us right into where they do the team meetings. Pete Carroll was there, and he just brought Jake down to the front. And he goes, "Hey, we have a guest today, Jake Olson," stuff, and the whole team started chanting, "Jake, Jake, Jake, Jake."
For the next 3 months, Jake was a part of the team until the day came when he had to have surgery to remove his eye.
The next day was hard because he woke up. We had to drive to the hospital, so, he started crying when I woke him up. And I started crying, and we cried the whole time.
Not until really I woke up from that surgery did I really come to the sense of, hey, okay, this is my reality now, I'm blind.
When Jake came out of that procedure, as devastating as that kind of was, even though we knew the outcome, he talked about light. There was something there there was light, and he just couldn't believe that his world had light. And I just thought, to this day, I still think it's so symbolic of, he has this physical aspect of light, but there's just more to it than just that.
The next morning, I'm in the kitchen, and he gets up and he comes downstairs and he goes, "I'm going to school." And I go, "Are you sure? Because, they said you should probably maybe take a week off. You just had the surgery." He goes, "No, I'm going to school."
There's no sense of sulking around, thinking to myself, why me? And, I wish I wasn't blind. Why did this happen to me? It was more of, okay, this did happen to me, so let's move on. When it came to high school, became tackle football, became a lot more competitive. Talking to some members on the team, they said, hey, we got this long snapper. He's really good, he's graduating. I haven't set anyone up to be his replacement.
When Jake told me he wanted to play football, it was within the context of he was thinking about being like a center, long snapper. And my immediate reaction was, wow, that's interesting. How is this going to work?
Picked it up, became the best snapper come fall camp, and earned a spot in varsity and played varsity junior and senior year.
Jake went on to become the starting long snapper on his high school team and didn't stop there. After high school, he went on to become a long snapper for the University of Southern California, his favorite team. Jake didn't let his disability define him or hold him back.
After I snapped for the first time in the Coliseum, I said, if you can't see how God works things out, I think you're the blind one. And I truthfully believe that. There's so many blessings that I've been given and so many lives I've been able to touch, and further His kingdom, that I think it would be actually quite shameful if, I sat here and, was mad at Him for letting me go blind.
This kid came in, didn't know what to expect, but he was a phenomenal long snapper, and it just showed that no matter how big the obstacle in your way might be, just persevere and keep going and fighting whatever it is, and that's what he's definitely taught me in that way.
Jake may have lost his sight, but he didn't let that change who he is or change anything about his life. He's achieving all his goals he's ever wanted to achieve, and he's inspiring people while he's doing it.
If I could summarize Jake's life and story in one word or one phrase, it's fight on, which is the University of Southern California's theme and chant of, let's fight on.
Jake is not afraid to share his faith or how he's gotten through. He gives credit to his faith in Christ. He goes out and speaks and helps motivate other people. God is using this, and sometimes I think that's why we go through things here, because if you never went through anything, you wouldn't know. You couldn't be empathetic with anyone else, and you wouldn't be able to share how you got through that. And so I know Jake's been a huge inspiration to so many people.
I always say, there's a setup in a setback. And that means that in every setback, there's a setup waiting to happen. Now, that is true when you choose to see it that way. If you see your setbacks as permanent and immovable, then they will stop you. But if you choose to see your setbacks as something that's waiting to set you up, and you can believe in it, use it and leverage it, and let you bring you to new heights. And in my case, that's what blindness was. It was a setback, but it was also a setup for a new life full of amazing opportunities.